upon you. Assalamu alaikum. It's an honor to be here, and it's good to see so many black people at Urban. I've become an Irvine a little while, and I'm hardly ever see my people here. I'm my favorite. And I think it was the last time I was here. I'm seeing more brothers and sisters right here. I asked the brothers, are they brothers and sisters? And then there was some tired one guy. It's an honor to be here. It's always good to be with you. And I really appreciate the fact that that you had the foresight to do a topic like this, deal with the Black Panther cause self-defense. I get a little nostalgia. When I think of the Black Panther Party, when they were doing the thing out with the war, and we wanted to grow up to be Black Panthers. That was just it. We wanted to grow up to be Black Panthers. And that was just it. We wanted to be Black Panthers. So my name was Lil Huey. That was Lil Huey. And but the Panthers were like such a source of pride for us. They were like, the Panthers, they were like our big brothers. And so we saw the Panthers out there. I remember I was saying his brother had a t-shirt. I thought I had that t-shirt so much my brother gave me a shirt off his back. He said, man, here, take it. Man, don't say what to me. So the thing that he was doing, and they were right up close. And it was just the Panthers, you know. And then I remember I grew up in Philadelphia, and little Bobby Hutton had been here. Little Bobby Hutton was a teenager going to the party. Elaine Brown had talked about it. And he was assassinated. So they showed his funeral on TV. And so as his funeral, as his hearse was going down the street, there was black folks on both sides of the street. Always black folks. So as his hearse was going by, the black folks on both sides of the street, when his hearse came to them, they built a power sign. As the hearse went by, I'm checking this out. And then goes up on there after that. We moved to California. And so we got to California. Brothers introduced me to Oakland. And so he was in high school. We got to Oakland. I said, man, this is where I want to live. I'm not here. I don't know if I'll please you what I would know. And when I got to my high school, the first thing I wanted to do was to buy, I was looking for a black beret. And I looked all over for this black beret. I found it. Boy, I'm going to bad boy to school. White girls had a fit. They had a fit, you know what I'm saying? But that was just a panic. It was just who they were, who they meant to us. You know, like it was our cowboy. And so it's good that you revisit them like you did. I'm supposed to be dealing with the point on the 10-point program, dealing with wars of aggression. And this is very, very important. It's an important point. You notice how the points that the Panthers used, how they're still relevant today. You know what I'm saying? Because America is still America. Although they may not be in a couple of years. But right now, America is still America. And that's important. We'll talk about that in a minute. But America is, you're witnessing history. And it's very important when you're in history to recognize that you're in a historical period. That's very important. That you're conscious of it. America is falling as an empire. It's falling. And there are those who would have us believe that this is something that is bad for us. But I'm telling you that in order for the world to eat, in order for people to live on more than $2 a day, America has to fall as an empire. And so we want to deal with that because when the Panthers were talking about wars of aggression, they were talking about America as an empire. And this is very critical because black people in this country have always taken a position against empire. And I want to take you back like to 1900 and start there and quickly come up. And we have to deal with Malcom X.
deal with young people today, the thing that I have to do is to try to reconnect you with history. Because we're getting ready to go through another 60s period right now. And it could be more intense than the 60s because of the economy, because of depression. In the 1960s, the American economy was expanding. The American economy was healthy. But now, as I said, this bad boy is coming down. And so this could make this next period of struggle much more intense. H. Rap Brown, did she mention H. Rap Brown? Did Elaine mention H. Rap Brown? He's even in jail today. But one of the things that he told us in the early 80s, he told us that he would say that the movement did not begin or end in the 60s and early 70s. So he was trying to get us to understand that the movement continues. That we may have gone through a lull period. You know what I'm saying? We may have went through a period where things kind of slowed down. Like I had the pleasure of visiting Nicaragua in 1984 after the revolution. And one of the things that young people asked me, he said to me in 84, he said to me, how come black people are not fighting anymore? Right? And that was a real question. And then we had to talk about, you know, COINTELPRO, what the government did to stop the movement and so on and so forth. And we told them, you know what Somoza did at the time, the Americans back in that time. You know what Somoza did to y'all? I said, that's what the government does to us. You know what I'm saying? My people in America. And so, but they had known about our struggle, and I want to talk to you about that a little later. We also have to talk about an analysis of some potential dangers of Barack Obama being president, or black man being president. We have to talk about that. We ain't here to hate on Barack, but we have to discuss it, you know what I'm saying, as intellectuals and so on and so forth. We have to discuss it in the context of the empire. All right? So, one of the things that we talk about, we explain the whole aspect of empire to our people, particularly to our youth, is that we say to them this, that the richest continent in the world is Africa. The richest continent in the world is Africa. The poorest people in the world are in Africa. Now when people hear that, they think that's wrong, man. That don't make sense. You said the richest continent in the world is Africa. True. But then you said the poorest people in the world are in Africa. True. How does that go? Well, in order to understand it, then you have to understand the nature of imperialism. You have to understand the nature of empire. And once we understand the nature of empire, and how empire is a part of American culture, it's a part of American culture, and then we can understand how someone can say that the richest continent in the world is Africa, and the poorest people in the world are Africans. All right? Imperialism. Let's define imperialism this way. You can take this anywhere you want. Imperialism, when a stronger country takes over a weaker country and steals their land, their labor, and their resources. When a stronger country takes over a weaker country and steals their land, their labor, and their resources. All right? Imperialism. Now, when a country decides to do that, when a country decides to take over another country and to steal their wealth, they have to justify it because they know it's wrong. You never hear America, the officials in America, you never hear them use the I word. They say we're leader of the free world. They say we're a superpower. They never say we're an imperialist power. They don't say it because they know it's wrong. Well, even some of your professors don't use the I word. Maybe that's cool. Who's the cool one? Okama? Yeah, he might use the I word. But other than Okama, many people use the I word. Right? Because imperialism became a part of American culture. How do they justify imperialism? How do they justify it? One, white supremacy. You have to come up with a justification why you're taking these people's land. You have to come up with a justification why you are taking their land, their labor, and their resources. You've got to justify that. Well, they can't govern themselves. Do you know that to this day, when they show pictures of Africa, they don't show citizens? Black Africans, they don't show citizens.